Hello, I'm Joel with Power Stance Import Export, and if you came across this video through an eBay listing, thanks for watching. That's what these videos are for. But if you happen to stumble across it through a random YouTube search or suggestion and you have any questions about the vehicle, give us a call here at the number listed below, or find us on Facebook, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at Power Stance Import Export. We are a licensed used car dealer located right here in Oxford, Michigan. Hello, and up for sale today I've got a nice little budget-friendly 1997 Toyota Hilux diesel with the solid front axle. This is an import from the UK. It's now located here in Michigan and comes with a clean, clear Michigan title. So I'll walk you around the vehicle and show you all the blemishes and rust and whatnot. So I'm pricing this vehicle at, the bottom of the market for Hilux. If you can find another one cheaper, let me know. I'll try to match the price. But as far as I know, this one's going to be the cheapest one on the market. And it does have some rust. It's going to need a little bit of body work, but runs and drives great. And so let's show you around. Here, the most significant amount of rust is obviously on the bed. So it's going to take a pretty good body man welder to fix that, or if you can somehow find another bed somewhere overseas and get it shipped in, that might be an option. Headache rack on the back, tonneau cover, rear tailgate, comes with a hitch, European style, and it's all wired up. Pretty significant dent here below the tail light, and this is where the majority or the largest, most significant rust is, right here in the bed. And that's unfortunately really unrepairable with Bondo. It's gonna have to be cut and welded. In the cab corners here, looks like there's been some repair done there in the cab corners and some bed liner sprayed on the door sills. Running boards. Driver's side rear door is probably in the worst shape of all of them. There's a significant amount of rust there on that door, but the rest of the doors are all in pretty good shape. Here's driver's door, no rust there. Inside the interior here, there's a pretty significant wear on the driver's seat. We do have 128,000 miles on the odometer. Just your standard fuel gauge and temperature gauge. Center glove box. Headliner's in great shape. Rear seats also in great shape. Moving around to the front of the vehicle. We do have a nice set of BF Goodrich all-terrains, and these wheels are kind of special because they are 16-inch, not 15-inch. 6-lug, 4-spoke Toyota wheels. We do have manual locking hubs. And in the engine bay here, this is the Toyota 2.4-liter 2L naturally aspirated diesel. So it looks pretty simple. There's your oil filter right there. Alternator. We do have 2 batteries. I believe this one's a 6-volt battery. There's your fuses. And this is the 12-volt battery for the starter. I don't know what runs on 6 volts. I don't know too much about these yet. Most of my videos are Land Rover Defenders. So I'm going to do my best here to show you everything I know about this truck. There's your fuel pump, obviously, or your fuel filter. The pump is down in there somewhere. But inside the engine bay, it's dirty, used, but it's not rusty in there. Pretty clean. I mean, not clean, but pretty solid. Front end is stock. No aftermarket parts on the bumper or lights or grill or anything. I do have a set of quarter panels to go with the vehicle. Those are rusted as well around the fender flares. Hood is in pretty decent shape. There is a bit of rust up here at the front of the hood, but that could be fixed pretty easily. Sound deadening material under the hood is in good shape. It's still all where it should be. Standard mirrors, standard locks, windows roll up. No power anything really other than power steering and power brakes. And there's the passenger seat. Passenger side doors are in great shape. And let's take a look at the underside now. Okay, so here at the front, very similar to Land Rover Defenders and Discoveries, they have the swivel housings. So those seem to be in pretty decent shape. Pretty complex venting system here on the front disc brakes. Everything looks pretty solid under here. Maybe a slight leak coming out of the front of the motor. But I don't see much on the oil pan a little bit. A little dirty, but there might be a slight leak somewhere. But I've driven it a few hundred miles and I haven't had to top the oil off. Oil is where it should be. So there's the passenger side swivel. It looks pretty clean as far as leaking. I don't see any leaking out of there. The only difference between this and the Defender is the leaf springs up front. But other than that, the axle situation, pretty similar. Okay, here we are at the driver's side. There's the transfer case. It's a little dirty as well, but it looks like there's no oil leaking out of it. It looks pretty solid. There's the muffler. No holes. Although I do hear a slight exhaust leak when accelerating, so that could be up front somewhere. But other than that, muffler seems pretty solid. The chassis is in great shape. There's, you know, flaking here and there, but definitely not the same scenarios you have with Land Rovers where the chassis just rust out and you gotta patch them. None of that going on with Toyotas. There's just a little bit of flaky paint that could be scraped off and recoated. There's the gas tank guard. That's pretty rusty as well. It's all solid metal, it just needs to be cleaned up. Here's a look at the rear axle. Might be a slight leak coming out of the front seal, the pinion seal. The universal joints look to be pretty solid. And the vehicle runs and drives great, and there's no clunking out of the drive line or anything like that, as you'll see in the test drive. Okay, so drum brakes in the rear, and there's your rear axle. A little flaky, a little crusty, but no leaks coming out of the fill plug or out of the seal or out of the drain plug. Looks pretty solid. Shocks and leaf springs in the rear as well. And here's the rear of the chassis. Again, just flaky, a little bit used and tattered, but no holes or no welds or no repairs in the chassis. Okay, so probing a little deeper underneath here, it looks like there's a nice coating of wax oil in the cab area. So everything underneath here looks nice and solid. This is like flaking rust proofing. So underneath here, nice solid chassis. Same thing up here. So this is the rust proofing flaking up, but underneath is nice solid metal. The only real rusty area is right here at the rear of the bed. Looks like this is rusted out here pretty good, so that'll need to be repaired or replaced. But other than that, the rest of the bed is pretty decent. Okay, so let's take her for a spin. Go through all the gears and steering and braking. First and second gear. This is not that quick, but that was 35 miles an hour in second gear. That's 45 miles an hour, 50 in third gear. Fourth gear, we're at 55, 60 miles an hour there. And in the fifth gear. So, you know, I've got an old Ford Ranger and it's about the same speed. It's not too slow, but it's definitely not quick. But you can't beat 30 miles per gallon and the longevity of a 2.4 liter Toyota diesel. So nice and smooth, it runs down the road nice. No bumps or rattles in the suspension or the gear changes. There is a little bit of vibration in the braking. I'm guessing it's going to need a set of rotors or have the rotors turned. But other than that, ride and drive is great. Okay, so we'll come to a stop here. Again, there's a little bit of vibration coming out of the brakes. reverse here so we can see that gear.